led the league last year, of course, in giveaways. They tackled poorly, penalties. This is what Greg Schiano thrives at. He'll come back in here and establish a discipline and a sense of urgency and back to fundamentals. We watch them do tackling drills here every day during camp, but they're going to be just fine under Greg.
And we are back to football here on Fox, the 2012 kickoff. Once again, we're live from Tampa Bay, Florida. And the Carolina Panthers have won the toss. That is Kealoha Polaris, the second-year man out of Hawaii. He is back deep, and he will receive the kick from Michael Kanan. Kanan handles the punting duties, but also the kickoff duties, as you see his numbers from last year. Had a little bit of rain earlier on today. In fact, we thought we were going to get rain all day, but it has cleared up enough, and here we go. It is dry, and the opening kickoff in the 2012 season is a good one. That is a touchback and a first look at the man of the year, so to speak, Cam Newton. Newton comes out, the 2011 Offensive Rookie of the Year, set the NFL rookie record with just over 4,000 yards passing and the most rushing touchdowns in a season at 14.
You know, talking to the coaches here yesterday, they just felt like if he could be real consistent and continue to make the big plays that just come naturally to him, he's just going to be fine.
We'll set the rest of the offense as well as the Tampa Bay defense after this. The read option play, that's D'Angelo Williams, and he didn't get much. Great effort coming up from the corner spot. That's Aqib Talib. Up front offensively for Carolina. You look at the rest of their offense, Mike Tolbert. Tolbert is stepping in now for the injured Jonathan Stewart. Stewart bothered with a bad ankle. He will not go today. Gross along with Bell at the tackle spot. Khalil inside at the center. Silatulu along with Hangartner at the guards. That's a loss of 4. Play action pass, man in the middle. That'll be complete and then some. That's the big tight end. A guy you know, Coach, that's Greg Olsen for first down.
You know, the tempo here is really fantastic. You know, right to the ball, no huddle, put that defense back on their heels. It's a brand new defense. They've got young safety in there. That first round draft pick, Mike Barron. It's going to be hard on him.
First pass of the day is a good one, 20 yards for Olsen. Let's listen. Read play stuffed again. That's 2 tries, 2 stuffs. Gerald McCoy is in on that one. And speaking of that defense, the defensive line, 2 first-rounders up front. McCoy along with Adrian Claiborne. You just saw McCoy leading that charge. Mason Foster anchors it inside. Levante David, watch him. They talked a lot about this young man. Very aggressive. Rondé Barber goes back to safety from corner. Mark Barron is brought in as a high-round choice, the number 7 pick overall out of Alabama. They say he works very well thus far with Rondé Barber. 2 runs, 2 losses. That's a loss of 3. In the middle again. He's got Olsen again. He lost the ball.
You know, one of the first things that jumps off the tape in the preseason with this defense is their speed and how fast they're playing. And of course, with the addition or the changeup rather in the back end and having Mike Barron down there at the strong safety, you know, they're going to be able to fit that run. But you saw the 2 runs that they had. They're just that kind of speed. That's very difficult to get the ball around the edge like that out of the shotgun.
This is a 3rd and 13, and here comes the noise. Going deep to Smith on the corner route. Well covered by Eric Wright, and they'll have to punt it away.
A terrific addition for them at corner. Eric Wright was right in his hip pocket in that press man-to-man coverage and did a very nice job. Those throws have got to be right on the money. Those are difficult throws.
Sammy Strotter, 4-year man out of Oregon State. He's back deep to receive the punt. 2 new kickers for Carolina. This is Brad Nortman. Nortman just brought in as a rookie out of Wisconsin. Almost had it blocked, and a great tackle downfield. Tremendous hustle. Thomas Davis. Davis missed most of the season last year with a torn right ACL in the knee. That's his third, but it doesn't show on that play. A look at Josh Freeman. Freeman, believe it or not, even though the record didn't show, his numbers were pretty darn good. Over 3,500 yards passing, the second most single season in team history next to Brad Johnson in 03.
Talking to the coaches, too, they just felt like they've got to clean up his mechanics here a little bit and get him quicker with the football. He had such a long stroke, more timing routes, those kinds of things. His accuracy is so critical with that.
Got a rookie in the backfield. They'll go with a throw. The quick turnout. An easy pitch and catch. That's Mike Williams. You won't see Aurelius Ben. He's injured, will not go. He's been down most of the preseason.
Well, and there's another good example there of a timed route. 1, 2, 3. Hit it on time and really put it where the only place that you wanted to put it, right in front of him where he can run through the football. And this is the quickening his steps, talking to Ron Turner. This is a big priority for them to clean up. They want his stride length shortened a little bit, get the ball up nice and tight, and get it out quickly and accurately.
Todd Larson fills in at the right guard. Gavin Joseph, injured. He is gone for the season. A head-on play there. That's the rookie, Doug Martin. The first-round pick out of Boise State. He hits head-on with Charles Godfrey. Good enough for a first down. The Carolina Panther defense, they're expecting big numbers from these guys. Charles Johnson led the team last year with 9 sacks. Anderson, Beeson, Kuechly, coach, he's very solid, had a very good preseason.
Well, Luke Kuechly could end up impacting this defense much the way Cam did on offense, but with both Edwards, DeJuan, and Ron up inside, they can keep those guards, those linemen off those linebackers and allow them to flow and make plays.
Hey, flip! Martin didn't quite get through, coming down from the safety spot. You just talked about Coach Charles Godfrey making his presence known. That's kind of been the theme on safeties now coming in, being involved in the run game.
Godfrey is really the last line of defense, and this is what they needed. They've given up some big plays. Both teams have given up big plays on defense over the last season, but the safety play is so critical. The last line of defense, he misses these tackles now. This is where those big plays happen.
Hey! Second and 6 throw, the outlet throw. He dumps it off to Eric Lorig, his fullback slash tight end, and Lorig looks to be just shy of the first. Hit by Kuechly along with Beeson.
On both sides of the ball, both defenses have really addressed their safety situation, being able to hold up against these big plays. You know, a strong safety obviously with Barron on the other side of the ball, but here, both Godfrey, these guys have got to make tackles in the run up on or near the line of scrimmage, which is, for me, Ron, when I came into the league, that was the biggest difference that I saw. Safety's being able to fill, got everybody blocked, and all of a sudden he shows up and you got no gainers.
Play clock running low. This is a 3rd and 1. Freeman will keep it. I believe he's got more than enough. The ball is loose. I think the play was blown dead after he made the yardage. So that is a Bucs first down. The New Jersey native and former Bucknell linebacker Greg Schiano, 11 years at Rutgers, the last 7 of which he won 5 out of 6 bowl games. And before that, Rutgers had only 1 bowl appearance in 135 years prior. So his record speaks for itself, but he also has the NFL experience with the Bears on Dave Wannstedt's staff back in 96 to 98. Boot. He's got Lorig. Lorig's got the first down and then some. Nice looking play. Kuechly ran him out of bounds, a pickup of 15.
You know, this game is unfolding just the way Greg Schiano would want it. Up-tempo on offense. I know they made a first down. They had a nice big hit on play action, but offensively, they're mixing this thing in very, very well, letting Josh manage the game, not shooting themselves in the foot, protecting the football. Good yardage now on first down runs. Little dink ball in the flat that turns out into a 10 or 15-yard gain. unfolding just like you'd like to have this thing played.
Panthers lineman Charles Johnson limped off. Frank Alexander checked in for him. We'll try to get an update. This is a give to Martin. Martin getting those hard yards, and Beeson stepping in. Beeson missed all of the preseason with a bad hamstring. That was in addition to that Achilles injury that took him out last season. That's a pickup of 1.
You know, the other pickup here is Luke Kuechly from Boston College. He gets through traffic. He makes so many plays in college, and he's showing up either on the ball or around the ball here so far this afternoon. We made mention up here that he looks a lot smaller than what he is. He's 6'3", you know, but he's so doggone lean and quick.
8th play of the drive right here. Play action, looking vertical. It's not there. A circus catch by Martin. Simultaneous catch. They have to give it to him right over the man we're talking about, Luke Kuechly, who really couldn't have had better coverage.
Yeah, I don't know how you cover him, but that other than just become some sort of, you know, saran wrap and put yourself around him, you know. But just what a nice throw. Resets his feet over here, but puts the ball the only place you can put it. And the size differential in terms of height, did a great job here of just focusing on the ball and finishing with his hands. Really just impressed with the tempo and the intensity of this group.
Look at Martin's numbers there at Boise State. 11 yards on that pickup. Freeman solid thus far. Not a lot down the field. 4 for 4, 37 yards. Back to the ground game. Cut back there. Martin saw it. And you see some of that nice vision about 3 yards short of the first. Let's go out to Los Angeles, our first game break of the day.
We go to Cleveland. I guess Browns fans are used to this. Michael Vick and the Eagles come back, take the lead, and hang on to win 17-16. Cleveland has lost 8 straight season openers. Ron and Mike.
All right, thank you very much.
You know, that was a great point right there with Godfrey. Had a chance of making that stop for a 1-yard gain. Ends up being a 6-yard gain. And of course, you got to give credit now to the rookie. Really an excellent job of running through the tackles.
Charles Johnson checks back in for the Panthers. The throw to Martin. Martin hit hard, taken backwards. That's James Anderson with all the injuries to the linebackers last year for Carolina. Anderson got a lot of run, making a play here.
Well, and you can't emphasize enough, you know, the rebuilding of this defense with the inside backers and the 2 inside linemen getting a push in the pass rush and keeping those linemen off those backers so that they can run and make plays as well. Right now, they're making their money on the dink and dunk stuff in the passing game, which is fine, but eventually we want to see that ball go out there to 83, Vincent Jackson.
He's coming.
DJ Ware checks in. Martin has already touched the ball 6 times today. Safety coming up, 8-man front. They bring it off the corner. That's Nakamura. Short a man in the secondary, and Freeman found it. That's Vincent Jackson. Jackson brought in from San Diego after 7 years. He was working on Josh Norman and a first down.
And that's what he's here for, make those types of plays. The protection, outstanding. A little bit leaky, but he's able to hang in there and let Vincent come out of that cut. Really, the inside of that pocket, and this is one thing Josh did not do a very good job of last year, is allowing himself to step up into that pocket and make those types of throws.
Coach, you mentioned his feet during pregame warm-up. He's conscious of his feet, having set his feet on that throw fairly nice. Oh, the old 90 flip. You know about that play, Coach. That's Martin, and Martin will have another first down as he works inside the 10-yard line.
We need the rights on that thing. We should have
the rights. Yeah, licensing.
Licensing on that play. This is just a slight pause to the back, and what makes that so difficult is that defensive end has got to squeeze down because he's unblocked and then turn around and be accountable for that back outside, and that's very, very difficult to do.
And that is a vertical passing game offense type of play.
Absolutely. You know, it just messes with that defensive end. You know, those pass rushers, they get their ears cocked back, and, you know, that's a play you want to run that situation.
Seen you run that at the Rams many a time. Fake it, go to the boot, straight back, touchdown, Bucs. Mike Williams. 13 plays, 80 yards. Freeman, 7 for 7 on the drive. 52 yards, and now the touch to Williams. Connor Bart, the extra point is good. The Buccaneers draw first blood with 5:20 to play here in the first quarter.
Well, this is so big for Josh to come back with a hard play fake and get the vertical rod up inside, let those backers stick up. They're taking advantage of the aggressiveness of those linebackers, but to cap off a drive like that, he completes every throw and put it in the end zone. You know, with all the things that they've been working mechanically with Josh and trying to fix that and get him, you know, to settle down with his feet. Right, there was a great indication how quick he was with that ball and decisive. The issue that they had in the past with him, talking to Ron Turner, was his helmet was all over the place. And he had a hard time focusing on one target in terms of getting off. But it doesn't get, you can't get him better than that. That's perfect. 7 for 7, touchdown, 52 yards.
Ron Turner, the Buccaneers quarterback coach. And Freeman talked to us the other day about he'd lost 20 pounds on a new type of diet and working on leaning himself out. I don't know if the diet worked, but his arm seems to be okay.
I could use that diet.
No.
No, I think that, you know, his mobility on both those bootlegs that you saw was very important. He was able to get around that corner, make the defender miss. What he is doing, he's really handling the ball. I've not seen him, and this goes back to Ron Turner and his work with him, with the ball, hiding the ball and pulling it out on some of these play fakes. It's very convincing, very convincing. And that's a coaching issue, and that's attention to details, which goes back to Greg Schiano. Pay attention to details in good fundamental football.
Kane pounds it away, and it will go through the end zone for a touchback. We already talked about this scoring drive. It's close to perfect. I guess I would say perfect because as long as it ends in points.
Well, what I love about that drive is the mix and match with those show the ball and then bootleg or show the ball pop pass. Just those quick throws that gives Josh a great chance to have success early in this game. Managing the game with Josh is incredibly important for him to have success here right away.
Correction on that. That's a total of 13 play drive with the touchdown. Well, Saturday, it's another great week of college football action here on Fox. First, Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff with the Fox College Saturday pregame show. Then, Heisman Trophy frontrunner Matt Barkley and number 2 ranked USC head to Palo Alto to take on Stanford, maybe their toughest test yet. Coverage of Fox College football begins Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Go Bruins.
Big win.
Yes, they
Jim
did.
Moore and the Bruins beating up on Nebraska. 2nd and 8 throw. Olsen has been busy early, but a nice play there. Levante David using that speed as the number 2 pick this year out of Nebraska. That's a pickup of 4.
Levante, he's calling the defense as a rookie. They say he basically carries himself and talks that team like he's been around for about 10 years. But what he does is more speed on a defense that's kind of built on speed. And really, again, I've said this before, but it's remarkable the difference in how fast these guys are playing. The runs that they're coming out here with, they close up very, very quickly.
Tipped. Intended for Polaris, and maybe it's a good thing it was tipped because that ball looked as though it was going right in the hands of Eric Wright. That's Rondé Barber who got a hand on it.
Well, you can see they've got some sort of a pressure or dog here with the backers, but he's trying to get that ball quickly out to the back, but he just absolutely sat on it, watched the quarterback. They got tipped, but he's going to make that play anyway.
This is Nortman. The last punt out almost got blocked. They shore up the protection. A nice high one. That's going to force a fair catch, and there's contact. Captain Munnerlyn was contacted by Sammy Straughter, and that most likely will go against the Buccaneers. He did put his hand up for a fair catch.
Well, you've got to give him a chance to catch that ball. You can't. You've got to give him, the arm's length to have an opportunity to catch that ball. But this has been an issue for Carolina, the coverage part of it, and they brought some they brought 2 or 3 players in here to help them with this type of situation.
Excuse me, yeah, that's Munnerlyn. Munnerlyn contacted Strawder. I mixed that up. Strawder called for the fair catch. That call will go against Carolina. This is referee Jerry Hughes.
Fair catch, interference, number 41 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
The NFL going with the replacement officials, not able to work out a deal with the normal officials, and that time Jerry Hughes and his crew getting it right, clearly.
Looked like he was going to go right, go left, couldn't decide, went right down the middle.
Captain Munnerlyn, one of their special team standouts, for whatever reason, not seeing the fair catch sign. Ball at the 50. The deep sail route wide open. And there's a name you've heard before. That's Dallas Clark. A pickup of 33 big ones.
And again, this is something that is really effective, and he's doing so well. I've not seen him do before. He buries that ball on the play fake. Watch him. Head down, delays a back air. It's just enough for Dallas to get in the seam. That's why Dallas is here. They brought him here to get into these seam routes and help them. You know, that's the area the safeties would normally be, and also in the red zone. You take a look at Dallas down here. There's a real chance in the next few plays, I think, here that Dallas will get the ball again.
9 years of the Colt. Coming in, making some big plays. Freeman, 8 of 8. The handoff to Martin. He's got no place to go. Nice defense by the Buccaneers. By the Panthers, that's Munnerlyn, along with Beeson. Loss of 1. We'd like to welcome all of you watching the early games on Fox. Ron Pitts, Mike Martz, Christina Pink down on the sideline. We've got an early 7-zip game. It's all about Josh Freeman. He's 8 of 8, very efficient with the football, especially in the play-faking category. My partner Mike Martz has noted a couple times.
They've mixed it up so well here.
Back to the ground, no gain. That's Martin, hit by James Anderson.
I think when we visited with Josh here the other day, you know, we both made mention of he seemed not nervous but fidgety, and I just feel like he was ready to play this game. You know, he's come out of here on fire, boy, and they've got him ready to go. It's exciting to see him like this.
112 yards already for the Buccaneers. Inside the red zone. P.J. Ware out of the backfield. Freeman, no protection. And it's batted away.
And
Frank Alexander.
This was an issue. This was an issue for them last year, where they get a little bit of push in there. We've got batted balls, and he has to get a throwing lane in there. He's got to slide to one side or another. They're double teamed. They're getting a good push there up inside, which is obviously what they want. And this is a big change for them on defense. They couldn't get that push. They get that inside push, and now those outside guys become a factor as well.
So this will be 36 yards out for Connor Barth. He hit a 56-yarder in preseason against the Patriots. Ball's up. It squeezes in on the left side. So the Buccaneers add another 3. And they have gotten off to a nice start in this 2012 season. Freeman inside to Mike Williams. 10-point game.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Nice day shaping up thus far for Josh Freeman. 8 of 9, 85 yards, 1 touchdown strike to Mike Williams.
Well, this is what Greg Schiano talked about. They have to keep Cam off the field. The more plays they can have, these sustained drives, those dink and dunk throws, 4 or 5 yard run here. Don't take those big shots because they put you in 2nd and 10. Manage the game. That's what they've done. They've kept the ball away from Cam. Now it's time for these guys to get something going.
Kanan put the last one in the end zone for a touchback. This one goes 9 yards deep. Polaris will sit on it. Cam Newton, last year's Superman. He's working with a goose egg on the board. He'll be back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
"10-0 game, Tampa Bay in front of the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have been down here since Tuesday. They got out of Charlotte a little early, thanks in part to the Democratic National Convention taking place. Coach Ron Rivera wanted to get away from the distractions and get his players focused.
Well, they've got 3 runs for -5 yards, and that's just not the Panthers.
Long out on the other side. That's complete to Lewis Murphy, brought in from a trade with the Oakland Raiders after 3 years.
You know, Coach Shiano had such a challenge here in so many different areas, but when you look at where they were last year, last in yards after catch, yards per play, the big plays and the penalties, this all goes back to discipline, what he was addressing. Back to fundamentals and a sense of urgency. He kept using that term over and over. A new sense of urgency, and certainly that's what we're seeing out here today.
Close formation. 1st and 10. Plenty of time inside. That's Williams. Williams got a nice gain there. Picks up 5.
You can see the speed now in rallying to the ball, finishing tackles. That would have been very easy to slip a tackle there in the pass and maybe get another 4 or 5 yards, but there's a play action there. And against the defense that they're running with that 2-deep safety kind of coverage, that's very vulnerable to that type of play action. They do a great job so far today watching them recover from any play action and swarm the ball when it's thrown out into the flat.
And Carolina is going to sit on this with a 2nd and 5 coming up. That is the end of the first quarter. The score, the Buccaneers 10, the Carolina Panthers nothing.
That is the end.
America's Game of the Week on Fox will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. We start the second quarter here in Tampa. Ron Pitts, Mike Martz, along with Christina Pink. Carolina Panthers running game struggling, -5 yards rushing. Jonathan Stewart not available. That doesn't help. End around handoff to Kealoha Polaris, and he's got enough for the first down.
Well, you have that 1-2 punch, and obviously the quarterback, they've got to account for him. And I think what they're doing with this is riding him just like you would the old option football in college and reading a defender and trying to pull it. And the speed, they're getting off blocks so quickly and getting on this back so quickly, it's hard for them to read.
5 yards on the game, good enough for the first. Ball spotted at the 40-yard line. That's Mike Tolbert in the backfield. Fake the end around. Swing to Tolbert. Tolbert is going to lose. Rondé Barber coming up from the safety spot. Still the same old Rondé making plays. Right now, let's go down to the 3rd member of our crew standing by on the sidelines, Christina Pink.
Hey, thanks, Ronnie. You guys mentioned it earlier. The Panthers trying to avoid all the craziness surrounding the Democratic National Convention up in Charlotte. They flew south a little earlier week 1, heading to Sarasota on Tuesday, then staying in Bradenton. And if you think that's a distraction, these guys said no. Actually, it was more of a bonding experience. They hope it'll build team chemistry. We haven't seen it just yet, but we'll see if that changes. Back up to you.
Great report there, Christina. A loss of 6 on that last play. Definitely they're looking for some bonding. Barber rushes on the outside. They pick him up. And they get it off. There's the first of the day from Steve Smith. And look at Steve Smith. Steve Smith in the Buccaneer territory, pushed out around the 30-yard line. Eric Wright finally got him out of bounds, but a huge gain, 25 yards.
Well, you saw Cam there clapping his hands. He was losing the clock, and that's a way of telling the guys up front, hey, we're going to snap this thing a little bit earlier. But, you know, just when you think you lost Steve Smith, here he comes in a big way. And defensively, Tampa, it felt like he was the guy that was going to make the difference that they had to account for first and foremost.
Yeah, he clapped there, almost lost the clock again, gets it out to Lewis Murphy. So now Carolina starting to get a little little momentum, as you would say, Coach.
Well, you know, and that's what he gives you, that big play. It sparks things, gets guys juiced up and excited again. And, you know, he's going to come up big again here real quick. You got to feed him. A player like that, you get a nice throw like that, within the next 2 plays, you just got to give him the ball again.
Pickup of 2 on the play. Smith has been bothered with a foot infection. He got a couple of weeks ago. They weren't really sure at what percentage he'd be able to play today, but he comes up with a nice one a few plays ago. 2nd and 8, pressure, and down goes Newton.
I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but I just got to tell you, the speed here on defense, they're hard to stay blocked now. They just get off things so quickly. They're getting off the ball. Watch them squeeze down here and surround him. Now, he's supposed to come down an option in the end, but there's 2 guys on the backside that were free. That whether he optioned or not wasn't going to happen. They're just having a hard time matching the speed and the intensity to this Greg Schiano defense.
Quincy Black was there first. Levante David came in and cleaned it up. 3rd and long. Loss of 5. Going deep, looking for Smith. Smith can't get to the ball. Great coverage by Eric Wright, brought in this year as a free agent from the Lions.
Now he just mirrored him all the way down. He tried to back shoulder him, and when you're that tight in coverage, those back shoulder throws just don't happen. You know, they've done so much of that in the league, and everybody's kind of doing that the corners know that press coverage with one safety in the middle, he doesn't have help, so he's got to be in his hip-to-hip, and that's what he did.
Norton will try to kill this one inside the 10, and he does a nice job of it. All spotted at the 8-yard line. Josh Freeman, he's been effective. More of him when we come back.
The hardest thing, Ron, as a play caller, was when you got negative yards on first down, and you got a 2nd and 12 or 15, and it continues to be like that. Boy, that's hard. And that's what Tampa's avoided, and that's kind of the trap that Carolina's fallen into.
Carolina coach, offensive coordinator Rob Chudzinski trying to get it worked out. LeGarrette Blunt checks in now at the tailback spot. They go play action to him. And that ball knocked up in the air by Alexander. And Josh Freeman today has been nothing short of, I guess, spectacular.
But when you watch him throw the football, it doesn't look like the same guy. He's quicker with his feet. Again, I go back to Ron Turner and all the work he's done with him now in the offseason in camp. He's setting quickly, but as you watch him play, Faith, it's fun. Watch him bury that ball and then the reaction by the defense, the effect it has on the defense. It's one of the reasons why these play fakes or the play actions have been so good.
Blunt straight ahead and pushes out to the 12-yard line. Tackled by Greg Hardy. A pickup of 4.
These types of inside runs are so important to building an attitude and a toughness with that offensive line. And you go to the sideline as an offensive coach with these offensive linemen, and they're going to tell you, hey, let's run that ball from tackle to tackle. That's all they want to do. But when you can get that kind of a push and pop it against inside like that, well, I tell you what, now you're in a makeable 3rd down situation.
Greg Schiano telling last year's leading rusher, hey, just take that thing down inside. Get those yards, 3rd and 6. Carolina showing A-gap pressure. They don't bring it. They bring 4 instead. Oh, contact early, but it's still caught for a 1st down by Mike Williams. The flag goes down. Chris Gamble on the coverage.
Even there, as you watch Josh set, and that pocket came back into him, he didn't drift at all. The receiver really helps him here by sticking his foot in the ground and putting his body between the ball and the defender. And as simple as that sounds for all you high school kids out there and Pop Warner guys, you know, pros make that mistake all the time and give up the quarterback on those throws. You've got to make sure when you turn that you're between the quarterback and the ball rather and that defensive back and not give him a break on that ball.
A pickup of 8 on the play as we wait to hear from Jerry Hughes.
Pass interference. Number 20 on the defense. 1st down.
Ron Rivera looks on. Last season, the Panthers defense ranked 28 in the NFL overall, 24 against the pass. But Rivera has had success in his short career against the Buccaneers, doubled them up last year.
And trying to get Josh some weapons outside that he can spread it around a little bit. And obviously with Mike there, that's another opportunity for one of the other guys to step up and take the challenge.
Looks like man-to-man in the secondary. First and 10 run. Blunt stopped up early. Still going. Somehow he got 4 out of it. Didn't look like there was anything there. Well, this Wednesday, are you ready for the new season of the X Factor? Simon Cowell and L.A. Reid are back. Joining them are the new judges, Demi Lovato and the one and only Britney Spears. The X Factor. Don't miss the premiere of the new season this Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox. Carolina, when they were looking at Tampa Bay, they said there's a lot of X Factors. We're not sure exactly what Greg Schiano's going to run, how much of the college stuff he's going to bring with him. A lot of changes defensively.
Well, there's a lot of changes now at halftime that they're going to have to come back and look at and say, okay, here's what they are, guys. We need to adjust and adapt for just a tick.
2nd and 7, going deep, looking for Jackson, and a late flag goes down. Jackson threw his hand up saying, hey, where's the flag?
That's bullshit.
One of the things here when you look at this last pass, watch Josh in the pocket.
Pass
watch how things
interference.
get back into his lap.
Number 24.
He steps up. He wouldn't do that
defense.
last year.
Spot
He
foul.
hitched up and
Automatic.
got pressure. The
First
arm
down.
hit him. The body hit him. He would float out of there in the pass. And all that work that they've done in the offseason about staying in there, keeping your feet tight, bent knees, and making that nice, accurate throw has paid off. We were talking in the pregame about how much different he looked, remember, throwing the football. And obviously, this work has really paid off with him. He is just on fire.
Well, you notice in film, Coach, his feet weren't quite set like they should be, and as you know, that affects the delivery of the ball. Josh Norman called on the play there for the interference.
Yeah.
First and 10 throw. Blunt. He's got some room. Oh, and he hurdles a man. He did that last year. Only got a couple yards out of it, but you know what? The show looked good. That was Charles Godfrey that he jumped over.
Again, I'm jumping on the Josh bandwagon here, but when you watch him turn to get that ball out there quickly, he went right to that check down under pressure, which was really outstanding. It was very nicely done by that quarterback. Again, he's very, very disciplined, and he is managing this thing beautifully.
LeGarrette Blunt, 6 foot, 247. We're seeing a lot of college kids do this. This is the new trend now, to try to hurdle people when you're a big man. Blunt again, looking for the cutback, not there. Nice play inside by Dwan Edwards, just brought in from Buffalo as a free agent. Pickup of 1. Uh-oh. Blunt is in trouble. He injured that knee grabbing it. He tried to walk, and he clearly could not get along. They'll tend to Blunt will step away. 8:31 to play here in the second quarter. Here's another look at LeBlunt. LeGarrette Blunt and the injury.
It looked like that right foot kind of got stuck there. The defender stepped on his left foot and he couldn't get it out of the ground.
Yeah, he clearly was not going to make it off the field under his own power. He did walk off during the break under his own power, so that's good news. 3rd and 7. Freeman stepping up. Complete. That's Vincent Jackson, and Jackson down to the Panthers' 31-yard line. Nakamura on the tackle, but a pickup of 22 yards and a first.
This is what we wanted to see him do, step up in the pocket. Carolina, on the other hand, they were expecting to get a push there and get up into his face, and this has been effective against Josh in the past. Tampa did an excellent job here of negating that rush inside. They're trying to get that to those defensive ends on the outside by pushing and getting up underneath his chin there. Josh doing a great job of stepping up inside there now and making that throw. Again, these are all things that he's basically evolved to through the offseason. It's really quite something to see the improvement.
2 catches for Jackson on the day. Freeman looking downfield. He'll do this himself. Spins and gets the first down as he works inside the 20-yard line. Put a spin move there on Gamble, and he picks up 12.
You know, they were expecting Dwan and Ron both to get a nice push inside on the quarterback, especially on 3rd down, where you can get some sort of pass rush by those outside guys when the quarterback can't step up.
Coach, we were talking before the game about some quarterbacks move their eyes and their head too much while they're scanning the field.
Well, this is a big issue for Ron Turner with him. He wanted to quiet his helmet so that he sees more, not be so active with it, with his eyes all over the place.
And Doug Martin is hit hard. Greg Hardy along with Charles Godfrey out to Los Angeles, and an update.
And we take you to Green Bay and San Francisco. Randy Moss, a year out of football, 35 years old. No problem, I'm sure Coach Marks has seen that a few times. His career touchdown number 154. Pitsy, Mike, back to you.
All right, thank you very much. That's Greg Hardy who made the tackle there along with Godfrey, and what a tackle it was. He's shaken up. 6:21 here in the first half. Coach, one of the things that you talked about leading up to this game is you got to keep a guy like Cam Newton off the football field if you're going to have success.
Well, and they've been very good at doing that so far. Obviously 14-52 and 8-35. That's quite a discrepancy there of 6 minutes. And when we played Carolina in the past, we always felt like that's what we had to do.
Slant throw. Jackson down to the 6. He's still going. Jackson won't go down. Big Carl Nix comes along at about 380 and cleans up everybody and pushes the pile forward.
Yeah, 6'5".
Yeah.
330, right?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. He is a load down there. This is why Vincent Jackson's there, though, right? Big body, 6'3". Big body that didn't have a number 1 receiver to make those kind of plays in the red zone for him.
6'5", 230. Getting the ball close. Martin smelling the end zone, takes it down to the 1.
Boy, Carl Nix, he came around there like a locomotive. The linebacker guy dropped that shoulder and says, not today, big fella.
Now, what is Carl's official weight?
Well, that's what I was referring to earlier. They say he's 345. He might have been 345 in the 6th grade, but he's every bit of 380.
Ball spotted just inside the 1-yard line.
You can expect a run behind Carl Nix right now at 77, I would think. You're watching him in practice. They want that big body over there to get a nice pile drive.
DeMar Dotson checks in up front. Martin again. Martin won't get in. What a fill. Thomas Davis came down to shoot and lowered the boom.
Wow.
That's big time there.
Did they come downhill on the ball here? I thought that was going to be a walk-in initially. As you look at this, you see Nix on the left side get great movement. Nice ISO. And boy, did he fill and hit the back on that stop and pull. That's good tackling there now.
Beeson with a nice job of taking on the lead block as well.
Absolutely.
12th play of the drive coming up. Boot looking for a crosser. That's not going to get in. Davis again. So back-to-back plays, that time on Eric Lorig. And Davis was all over it. That's a loss on the play of 2.
Well, Charles Johnson just did a great job on this thing on the end here. He didn't get fooled. He absolutely work right back outside and really force the quarterback into a throw he didn't want to make.
So Sean McDermott's defense steps up and forces the field goal try. This will be 20 yards out, a chip shot, as they say. For Barth, he puts it through. Another long drive by the Bucs. They add on 13-zip here in the second quarter. The Buccaneers have put together some long scoring drives, 2 13-play scoring drives. This last drive, they went 90 yards. This thing started on the 10-yard line, Coach.
And this exactly couldn't work out better than, they planned in the conference room there on Monday.
Yeah,
how to win this football game. They've dominated the clock, obviously, first downs, and kept the ball away from Cam.
Kanan has been putting this ball out of the end zone. Polaris can just sit on it, kneel on it, and they'll take it at the 20. A shutout so far by the Buccaneer defense. A lot of youth. Some first rounders scattered around. It's a Buck game.
But this is a key play here in this drive. Now take a look here at Thomas Davis on the side. He's going to come by. Zuta is going to try and cut him off. He's just too doggone fast for that. Normally that linebacker gets picked off by the center. He's just too quick. Did a great job of filling that A gap and stuff in the back. I've run that play so many years, and that backside linebacker, normally you get a glancing blow and the back gets in the end zone. But boy, he was so fast to fill. That was very impressive.
So Newton with 2:55 to work with here in the first half. Fakes to Tolbert. Pressure. That's going to just get there. It looked like he didn't get all of it, but he got enough to Steve Smith, and that's a first. Second of 11.
A little up tempo here now. 2 minute.
Pressure. Back to Smith again. So Smith with a second catch consecutively, working again on Eric Wright. That one good for 16.
Well, and again, you're trying to move the ball here in the 2-minute drill. The guy he's going to find, and this was what the coaches, the Buck coaches had said. Sooner or later, you got to stop him. You can't. I don't know if you can stop, but you got to contain him as best you can. When things are tight, not going too good, he's going to get that ball to Steve Smith.
Wright giving Smith a big cushion over there. Timeout called. Play is stopped. I want to confirm if indeed it was a timeout. Yes. Well, let's hold on. At first there, Jerry Hughes in motion to Tampa Bay that they called timeout.
Tampa Bay is challenging the previous play that it was not a catch.
Okay, and they are outside 2 minutes, so yes, a challenge can come from the sideline, and they are challenging whether or not he made the catch and stayed inbounds.
It looked to me, Ron, like he had that catch. He's just got a very slight touch with that toe. 1, 2, and then you can watch that right there, that foot tap down right there. He had control of the ball. Both hands were on the ball in his grasp. And the ball may have been moving across his body, but...
After further review, the play is confirmed. The receiver had 2 feet in bounds when he possessed the ball. Tampa Bay is charged with timeout. First down, Carolina.
Coach, you're all over it. Great job. Great athleticism for a guy who supposedly has a foot infection. Pretty darn good.
And no question. Shoot, nice awareness of where he was. Wow.
Yeah. So Steve Smith, their big timer, the guy they go to whenever they need a big play.
Usually in these situations with these two deep kinds of coverages, the tight end comes out big with this with Greg Olsen. You expect him to get some action here somewhere.
So losing that challenge cost the Bucs a timeout. Pressure. Newton in the grass, but he gets it away to Tolbert. Tolbert, he'll go down as well. Somehow, Newton got away from the pressure by Gerald McCoy, but it ends up being, nonetheless, a loss of 6 yards. And that is the 2-minute warning. We've got guys that hurdle, guys that make great stuffs, guys that make great catches, and we've got a 13-zip game. Just under the 2-minute warning, 13-0. The Buccaneers in control of this one. Carolina trying to get something going. We just had a nice catch there that was reviewed.
Well, you'd like to see Gerald McCoy now take charge inside and get some push there. And he's got a matchup there in the rookie guard. We've got a chance here of both inside guys here to get in a push there, you know.
Some movement up front.
Ball start. Number 61 on the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Been in this situation before. And really, when you get a team like this that's amped up on defense and playing as well as they are right now, that they are getting out the football. You got to change this cadence somehow. Do something to disrupt that front, so that they're not getting off and timing the pass rush and getting in on that quarterback. They got to help that line out as much as they can.
And Mini Silatulo, that's the rookie out of Midwestern State, gets called. Pressure. Newton waiting for his man to keep going. Now he's got to keep going, and he's taken down at the 40, and a little jaw-jacking going on. Mason Foster holds it to a 4-yard gain. Out to Los Angeles for this update.
We go to Lambeau, and Aaron Rodgers with 45 touchdown passes last year. His first of the season as Green Bay cuts into the Niners lead now 10-7, 4:05 left until the half. Ron and Mike, back to you.
All right, the Packers coming back, making that a 3-point game. 3rd and long. Caught in traffic. Brandon LaFell with a big-time catch of 20 yards, moves the chains, and puts Carolina on the other side of the 50.
3-man rush. He's able to step up in there and handle that rush and wait on this. This is a long count pass. You know, it's about 20 yards deep.
The Buccaneers not ready, and it results in an easy throw outside to Greg Olsen. Mark Barron there on the coverage.
All 3 timeouts left. They got plenty of time here. And be patient and get that ball out of bounds and just keep moving yourself into position.
What are you telling your quarterback now in his headset, Coach?
Well, complete the ball outside it. Don't hold it down here. We got to get points. In other words, you're at the 35 now. Don't take any negative plays. You know, don't try to run with it or any of those kinds of things. If you're under pressure, just get it out of there. An incomplete pass here is gold sometimes.
2nd and 4. Newton looking for a crosser. He'll take it himself and get to the 35-yard line.
Well, these are the things that he does so well, and last year had such a big impact on defenses. But the speed of this defense and the ability to redirect, and it goes back to Coach Shiano and the enthusiasm and the energy that this group's got. They are getting after them up front. And you see all these white jerseys coming down the line.
Technically, they'll call that a sack and a loss on the play, a loss of 2. They'll give the sack to Rondé Barber as he pushed him out of bounds just before he got back to the line of scrimmage. That's a timeout taken by Carolina. Back here in Tampa. Hey, let's go back out to the other coast and check in with Kurt Menefee to see what he's got coming up for halftime.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, Terry, Howie, Michael, Jimmy, and I will have highlights from a very busy opening weekend in the NFL, including a stellar debut for the Heisman Trophy winner RG3, and Mark Sanchez silencing his critics, at least for now. Anything else you can think of? I guess not.
All right, Kurt, big day for RG3, 19 of 26, 320, and 2 touchdowns. This is a 3rd and 6. Movement, they'll go back. That's Handgartner.
You know, looking at Cam on 2 previous scrambles where he kept the football, really didn't get much anything on it. I really felt like you know, had he had his eyes downfield, he had a couple of guys downfield where he could have got rid of that football. And I think last year, these are the kinds of things that we saw him do. And it kind of bothers me here a little bit that he's out there on the edge with a chance of dealing that ball out to Steve Smith or one of those receivers, and he's tucking it and going. Now, again, he's rushed for all these touchdowns as a quarterback. I understand that, but, well, I tell you what, I wouldn't underestimate his ability as a passer out in the edge and get him into that mode like it was a year ago, making these plays down the field until you get to the line of scrimmage where you got to run the football.
Back up, man, back up. Ball start. Number 63 on the offense. Third down.
And I think he's, you know, those are kind of game management issues, you know, where you just, it looks like you don't want to make a mistake at this point. And I just feel like who he is, you get out there on that outside, get that ball downfield, make a play, kid.
Very well put, 3rd and 11. Pressure. Let's see if he can find a man. He's got a crosser coming in late. Nearly picked off. Sailed over the crosser. And that was Ahmad Black that went up high. Again, Gerald McCoy, who was put on injured reserve late in the season, continues to pressure Newton.
Well, he really redirected on this guy. Oh. Look how quick he was with those hands. And he had to change direction twice on Cam, you know. You got 3 white jerseys there in hot pursuit. And, well, I'll tell you what, they have turned it up a notch this year on defense.
Carolina with 4 possessions in the first half, all resulting in punts. And this one is going to die inside the 5 if they can get on it. They can't get on it. It rolls back and will go down about the 6-yard line. Well, this week, the battle for baseball's postseason heats up as the NL East leading Nationals battle the NL wildcard leading Braves, while the Rays head to the Bronx to take on the Yankees. Both teams fighting for the AL East title or a wildcard spot. And the Tigers looking to continue their push for the AL Central title when they square off against the Indians. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific.
Well, I tell you what, there's 7-minute in time differential between these two teams in possession. In 1 half, that's amazing. That didn't happen in a game, but let alone a half.
And yeah, if that man looked like Mr. Gary Sheffield, that's because it was. Resident here. Attends a lot of the games, and you can't blame Tampa Bay for sitting on that one with a 13-zip lead, able to do just about everything they want as we wind down here the first half. 13-0 Tampa Bay. We now go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa halftime report. 13-0 here at halftime. Ron Pitts, Mike Martz, Christina Pink, and as you can see, the sign there is quite up to date. The NFL has officially delayed this game because of rain. There has been some lightning in the area just as we broke to halftime. The lightning hit all over the stadium. They made an announcement. They cleared everyone out of the stadium, everyone that they could. And right now we're in delay mode. And welcome back to Tampa. Ron Pitts, Mike Martz, Christina Pink. It looks as though our weather issue has passed through, and we have been given the clearance by the NFL to lift the delay and go ahead and play. That is good news. And we're set to start the second half here with the Buccaneers leading 13-0. Don't forget to follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. Most of you have been watching the San Francisco-Green Bay game as we had our little delay here. You saw that record-tying field goal by David Akers. 63 yards. That ties Tom Dempsey, Jason Elam, and Sebastian Janikowski in that group. It's been all about the Buccaneers, and interestingly enough, Coach, when we talked to the Panthers, they said we're not really sure what to expect from a young head coach, college coach coming back into the league, and a lot of young players on defense.
Oh, no question. And I think at halftime there was a lot of chalk dust flying, and I think the delay of the game probably helped them. But I think they're going to be more aggressive here. They've got to get the Bucs off the field here in this first series and get something going. I can't tell how important it is here that they make a play on defense and get them off. And there's a good
play.
Start right there.
Michael Smith took a shot there. Sherrod Martin along with Colin Jones lowered the boom, and that's a good way to set that tempo you were just talking about as we look at the first half numbers. Obviously, the rush yards will jump out at you.
Well, and they've got to be a little bit more of an attacking defense now. They've got to create some bad plays for the Buccaneers on offense, and they can do that, with a retooling that defense inside with both Edwards and the two new linebackers, Beeson's back, of course, and Kuechly.
So 1st and 10 set up for Freeman. Freeman with a solid first half, 12 of 14, 122 and a touchdown, no interceptions. He gives to Martin, and Martin pushes out to the 5-yard line.
But and again, this is one of those plays where tackle, power play inside where they pull the guard and wrap him around, and we just call that bloody nose football, and that's what they want to do. And that's Shano. That's what he wants. That's attitude. That's toughness that he's bringing to this team, and they want to continue to keep themselves in makeable third downs, if not making a first down.
If you're Ron Rivera, or more importantly, I guess Rob Chudzinski, the Panthers offensive coordinator, what are you telling Cam Newton next time out on offense?
But don't be frustrated. You got to be patient. You're not going to make it all up in one play, obviously, and he's a player he is because of good decisions. And speaking of good decisions, you watch Josh there. That was a pick coming out to the flat, by golly. And he turned that one loose. They sniffed that one out, saw it, pulled it down, and he rolled around the left side for a first down. I can't tell you. He's a different guy. This is just a different guy than what we're used to seeing here a year ago.
Charles Johnson with the pressure, a pickup of 8. Officially, they'll call it 7.
He is really, the decisions was an issue last year, and his decisions are very quick.
They'll try the power on the left side. Martin spinning, maybe got a couple. They'll call it 2. Last season, the Bucs with a 4-2 finish, last in the South, but you wouldn't have known that by the way they started, Coach. They started off 4-2, lost to the Bears over in London, and then they completely tanked. They lost 9 straight after that, 10 straight total to finish the season, the longest losing streak in franchise history since 1977.
When you get a bunch of young players like that, things can kind of snowball, and it's very difficult to get it stopped and turned around.
Greg Schiano has come in with a back-to-basics approach as you've got movement. Looked as though on the right side there for the Buccaneers.
Now ball starts. Number 62 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
That's Ted Larson filling in for Davin Joseph. Tampa's first penalty of the day. Let's go down to Christina Pink.
Halftime, he says offensively, he wants these guys to perform better and do more as far as shooting themselves in the foot. Defensively, he says they need to get more stops on third down. Now, Greg Schiano says that his guys, even though they're dominating the time of possession, he still thinks they need to stay focused, and he wants to see some more explosive plays. Back up to you.
Maybe a chance for one here. Looking deep, didn't get all of that one. Hit as he threw the ball, it looked like. Intended for Jackson, and Charles Johnson in the area once again.
But one of the things that the Carolina's starting to do now is stunt the front and bring linebackers and try to get the offensive lineman kind of out of position here. He's going to get Vince Jackson here in the deep hole as a crosser, and you can see the pressure coming off the side there, but he had him, just got tipped. This is, again, looked like he got hung up back there a little bit. Stay focused here, kid. Get up in that pocket and make those throws. Don't stop back there. Now, you did a great job the first half. Keep it going.
Charles Johnson has been all over the backfield for the Panthers. Ron Rivera challenged him in the offseason to step up and do more for us, and he's done it thus far. There's the inside run to Martin, and Godfrey is all over it, well short of the first down.
Well, these draw plays when you're backed up, I know it frustrates fans sometimes, but they do pop at times. But now they're out to 25, and it becomes a field position game, and they've been able defensively to play so well. You got to rely on the defense here now. But on the other hand, what we said, Carolina's got to get him out. They just did. Now, patience, Cam, when you get this ball, a nice patient drive and get the ball to Steve eventually for a nice big play.
Check that DJ Ware on that last carry. Joe Adams. Adams back deep, takes it at the 24. Found a crease for a second, and the crease closed up. 53-yard punt, 8 yards on the return. Cam Newton will try to get the Panther offense going. A little rain never hurt anybody, huh?
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Nissan, innovation that excites. By Old Spice Champion, believe in your smell. And by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
That was the Buccaneers' first punt of the day, if you can believe that. Carolina working on -1 yard rushing for the day.
Well, they've got to get that ball downhill, I think. Get him back underneath the center like this and let them have some quick hitters and some gaps.
There it is downhill, but another nice play. Right in the backfield, Levante David, the second-round pick out of Nebraska, no gain.
Well, you take a look at them in the first half. These runs are going sideways, and a team that penetrates like these guys and with the speed that they're playing with, this has shocked them. You see them get off the football like Claiborne and penetrate. They can't cut these guys off. They had to, at halftime, retool what they're doing in the running game, get some lead blockers in there, and come downhill at that defense if they want to run it.
You see Carolina's rush numbers for Tampa Bay. They were ranked last in the NFL last year in rush defense. Quite a turnaround thus far. Steve Smith for the quick one, and Smith pinballs in there and gets 5 yards. That's 5 tough yards.
When you get a guy coming off the ball like Claiborne, you've got to trap him somehow. Either wham him or trap him with a pulling guard. Those quick hitter type of plays where you can get up on linebacker and cut him off. Problem is, Levante Davis, with his speed, he's hard to get to.
Claiborne's numbers there. Roy Miller involved on that last tackle. 3rd and 5. Newton out of the pocket again. Come back along the sidelines. That guy's been there for him all day. That's Greg Olsen, the tight end.
Well, Ron, you saw in the 2-minute drill, he had an identical opportunity just like this. And here he kept his eyes down the field. Earlier, he committed himself too early to the run. But this is what's so hard about him. As he bails outside, he moves him around, eyes are downfield, buys time, and makes a nice completion here. The key so far for these guys moving the ball is they got themselves in a makeable 3rd down. Even though the ball in the running situation got back plans, they're not taking negative yards.
11 yards on the pass play, 4 catches, 41 yards on the day for Olsen. The ride play looking deep, it's not there. All alone, and Smith will run for a while. Oh, lowers his shoulder and gets rocked by Barron.
That's a slobber knocker, Ron.
You're not going to hurt Steve Smith, but that will look good on highlights. A pickup of 32, and most importantly for Carolina Panther fans, another 1st down.
Well, they protected him so well here in this play. As he comes around the corner here, the safety comes up, and this is why they drafted him when they did, form tackle. Form tackle stopped him dead in his tracks. But the key to this is he bought some time there. And they're trying to pressure him, and Steve came all the way across the field to make that play. First half, they weren't doing that.
Hard-hitting safety, the first safety drafted as a 1st-round pick in club history, and you can see why. Across the middle, an easy touchdown. That's Brandon LaFell. And finally, the Panthers get on the board, 22 yards.
I wasn't sure he was going to see Brandon. He was looking outside and throw in. You know, I saw him up here. Obviously, of course, it's easier up here, but you know, it's more of a hot route, and you kind of look at that inside out, and obviously he did get to him finally. But really, they've made some nice adjustments here at halftime.
A lot of things done right in that drive, Coach, by Carolina. And I think we saw less running by Newton and more looking to throw.
Well, and they're protected him better. You know, they really are. You know, the biggest issue here is inside here with these guys. They got to negate that.
5 plays, 70 yards. We've got a game again. A 5th career touchdown for Brandon LaFell. As you look at the scoring drive, and the eyes were just about perfect for Cam Newton on that play. He tried to pull the trigger to the left side. It wasn't there, but he was patient, and I've heard you talk about that a lot, Coach.
Well, he was able to bury a real nice play fake in there, and, of course, a rookie linebacker was going to take the cheese here, and they took advantage of it. Levante David stepped up, and the ball went right behind him.
Michael Smith will have a chance at the 2. Hit hard, goes down at the 18. Jason Phillips on the tackle. Cam Newton getting his Superman swag back into it. 13-7. (13-7) game, 8:49 to play here in the third quarter. We had a league stop rain delay, but we were able to get through it before the second half actually started. And I'm not so sure that part of the Buccaneers offense didn't stay in the locker room for that half.
Well, I think he'd like to listen to him at halftime. He'd like to get the ball down the field on some bigger chunks as well in the passing game. So they stay with this now. They're getting 4 or 5 yard chunks.
Yep.
Take a look at this touchdown here. The linebackers here are going to get sucked up here on a real nice play fake by the back. Buries that ball very, very nice. You can see him get sucked up. And then right here, we got a real nice hole. Shoot, you could drive a truck through that thing, couldn't you? Makes it easy when you execute like that, doesn't it? Nice hard fake, but again, a rookie linebacker is going to take the cheese on that.
Doug Martin for 5. Lawrence sets up in the backfield. Pressure around the corner. A flag goes down. It's complete. That's Jackson, but it could be coming back. They throw a flag in the backfield like that. That usually indicates either holding or offsides. Pressure there by Luke Kuechly.
Holding, number 62 on the offense.
You know, they're
10-yard
trying to...
penalty. Still second down.
That's Ted Larson. That negates a 32-yard play.
Watch the hold here, but again, you see Luke coming off the edge with that shoulder underneath to put the pressure on him, but it's a takedown. WWF, that's a takedown. They'd have been proud there. But you can see the shoulder come underneath by Luke, and this is one of the things that makes him so dynamic, is he can rush like a defensive end, a true pass rusher, and then go back inside and play backer.
Second and 15. Looked at the slant, it wasn't there. Checks it down to Martin. Martin gets out just past the 22. A pickup of 8. Frank Alexander on the tackle.
Last drive, 70 yards. First half, a total of 109 yards. Wow. They went in halftime. They made some real nice adjustments. You know, I think a defense will show you everything they can do pressure-wise. Yeah. In the first half, there's not much different you're going to see in the second half. And they went back in and made some protection adjustments because they're protecting Cam a lot better this half.
Third and 7, throw, pressure. He's not down yet. Now he is. That's a sack. Dwan Edwards.
But Charles Johnson is the guy that gets the pressure on here. And this is, again, what they wanted to do inside is get some pressure with these guys and let him come around the edge here. He's got nowhere to really step up. Both those ends can come back and squeeze and pincer him and come up with that one-arm sack and pull him down. But, you know, if he can step up inside, he's going to get past all that, and you're not going to get those sacks. This is what Ron Rivera talked about, both Dwan and Ron Edwards could do for them.
A loss of 7. Charles Johnson looked as though he had the easy sack. He missed it. But Edwards cleaned it up. Plenty of room here now for Joe Adams. The coverage doesn't make it down, and there goes Adams. Adams with a beautiful return down to the Buccaneer 41-yard line in great field position. Coming the other way for that man, Superman. Looking for the end zone again. Buccaneers 13, Panthers 7, but Cam Newton has the ball after a nice return by Joe Adams. He's set up perfectly at the 41-yard line.
Well, I think they found something and showing the ball to Levante David and putting the ball in behind him.
Play action, a comeback, ball's late, and it's picked. Rondé Barber. Rondé Barber playing in his 200th NFL game. 200th consecutive start. Tipped by Aqib Talib. He comes up with the big play.
Well, Ron, they went right back to trying to show the ball to the rookie, get him to come up and get the ball right back behind him. But what a great job in the back end of that thing, sitting on that throw and making a play. Hard play fake. Rondé's eyes are just tracking him. He gets on the receiver a little bit quick. What a terrific break on the ball there.
Barber, 226 games played in. That is a franchise record. And he comes up with his 44th career interception. Ball at midfield for Freeman. Martin picking his way. He's got 5.
This is just basic high school football drills. You know, you do it every day in practice. You tip it up, and the golden rule of all corners is to not catch it. You know that, Ron. But, you know, of course, they usually don't have real good hands, but Rondé obviously is the exception with the interceptions he's got. But you work on those tip drills every day in practice, and it pays off.
Well, it's paid off for him quite a bit. I don't know. There's a couple guys that might be called Mr. Buck, but he's definitely in that category. Back to the ground game, and we saw this in the preseason, Coach. Doug Martin putting his head down, pounding away.
Well, they've got 2 plays now inside the tackles. They've had 2 tight ends and 1 receiver and 2 backs, and they are taking it to him. This is Greg Schaum. This is what he'd like to do. This is attitude football. Come downhill at him and knock him out of there. And, of course, this is what he does so well, Doug Martin. You know, they talked, you know, Ron Rivera talked about how hard he was to stand up and knock off of his feet. He always has that good forward progress.
Slowed down by Beeson. Martin, one of 2 first-round picks. Mark Barron from Alabama, the other first-round pick this year. That time they're able to corral him. Hardy there along with Godfrey.
You know, he's going to give you some of these plays like that going to the sideline because he is a little bit of a cutback guy and a slasher. Not that he can't get outside, because he certainly can, but he's making his money down inside on some of these zone runs and these pulling guard kind of trap or counter, if you will, types of plays. And looking at him in the preseason, he's really a bucket to handle here now when he gets a little momentum going.
Coach Schiano said he has exceeded all expectations, and we're not even into the regular season yet. Ooh, you can hear the pop there. No gain on the play.
Wet grass, there's mud on the field, you know, there's slobber on the face. It's mano a mano. This is football. You gotta love this, you know. Boom! ISO football, and the linebacker come up and meet it. This is, they're getting after each other pretty good here this half. This is getting very, very exciting.
So that'll bring up a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 12. Ball spotted at the Panthers' 40-yard line. E.J. Ware motions out. Look for the quick screen. Wasn't there. Freeman in trouble. Freeman goes down. A loss on the play, and a perfect time for the Carolina defense to step up. A loss of 4. That's Edwards along with Hardy.
Well, this is what they wanted their inside guys to accomplish. They want to get somebody up in the face of Josh. Josh, hang on to that ball just a little bit, hangs on to it just a little bit longer than you want. What you'd like him to do in that situation is just try to get to a check down and maybe get you into a field goal opportunity, but don't take that loss.
Joe Adams back deep. Michael Koenig will punt it away, standing at the 42-yard line. Going to try to kill this one. Slick ball, might be hard to handle. Adams chooses to stay away from it. And the Buccaneer cover teams squander a great opportunity to pin the Panthers inside the 5. Instead, breathing room for Newton. 13-7 game. Seven game. Cam Newton and the Panthers with the ball at the 20. Last trip down resulted in an interception, the 44th career interception by Rondé Barber. Bucs not able to get any points out of it. So here goes Carolina. D'Angelo Williams around the right side. He avoids 2. Got away from Barber. And is able to pick up just 1. NFL Mobile. Hey, pick up your phone and dial *NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every single NFL game.
I know that run probably didn't amount to much but a yard or so, but it's what's going to slow this pass rush down.
Well, you mentioned that during the break. They've been allowing the pass rush to heat back up again.
Yes. And they've got to stay downhill, and these guys just slow them down a little bit.
Barron creeps up for an 8-man front. They'll stay in man coverage. Across the formation, and another nice catch on the slide. Mark it for Greg Olsen. Olsen with his 5th catch of the day. Quincy Black on the coverage. That's good for 12 yards and a first.
Okay, they're going to bring both these backers down inside, and Gar picks him up. They got to switch this thing off like that, and he does a great job. Back comes across and gets just enough on him to make that play happen. Man-to-man tight work. The throw is perfect.
And that one almost broke. Williams, one more man to beat. He got it out to the 40-yard line. That's a pickup of at least 7.
You got to keep chipping inside with these guys on that pass rush. You've got to slow those 2 inside tackles down. Have to slow them down.
Newton. Pretty darn good job by the Buccaneers defense. Black runs him out of bounds. But you could see he wanted to throw it. They hold it to a 1-yard gain.
There's a different sense of urgency about him in the second half. You know what I mean? He's not, he looked a little indecisive and just unsure of himself, and he is out and he is attacking this game now. He looks like the Camarillo from last year.
Winding down here in the 3rd quarter. This is a 3rd and short. Steve Smith up top. Newton, 2 yards, he'll get it, and then some. A flag is down back upfield as Newton jumps out to the 45-yard line of the Buccaneers, but let's check the flag. Could be coming back.
Holding on the offense. The left guard. 10-yard penalty. Still. 3rd down.
So a holding penalty wipes out the 15-yard gain. They called left guard. That's Silatolu. He's been called a couple times today. That's a momentum killer. 3rd and 12.
And right in this way, they brought Vincey Jackson in here.
Going deep for Smith. Picked off. Ahmad Black off the hash mark. Covers great ground and makes the play. Not the way you want to end the quarter if you're Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. The Buccaneers will take over, and that'll be the end of the 3rd. America's Game of the Week will be back after these messages from your local Fox station. The first career interception for Ahmad Black, the 5th-round pick last year out of Florida. I mentioned that he came a long ways All good safeties have to be able to track the ball and then go get the ball. And for Newton, the last 3 pass attempts, 2 interceptions. Coach, what do you have to do to reel him back in?
Well, these are down the field throws, and you have to be very careful with that. These crossing routes they had success with, I'd get back to those things.
Ron Pitts, Mike Martz, Christina Pink. We start the 4th quarter. And that's an incomplete pass intended for Vincent Jackson. Let's go back to the interception.
Well, you can see the position of the corner really forces this. He doesn't allow the receiver any kind of break on the football.
Right.
He's got terrific. It's just blocking him out in basketball, right?
That's exactly
just like
right.
basketball. And of course, the receiver gets pinned into the boundary. He's isolated. He can't make a move in the ball. And the safety, shoot, that's just a ball drill now.
That's right. And you talked about this, the corner play and the corner talent that the Buccaneers have brought in this year was superb. Wright coming in after 4 years with Cleveland, 1 year with the Lions, a bona fide man-to-man type corner. And he shows it on that play. Back to their ground game, and Martin chugging along on the right side. He's got 3.
Just continuing to get that ball either first down or in a position to make a short or medium 3rd down.
Coach, what is called manageable 3rd down distance?
Well, anything less than 6 yards, you got to feel like you have a chance of getting at it. You know, you'd like to have it down around 4 or 3 yards. And, you know, if you can run the ball twice and get 3.5 yards, you've got something in your package generally that's going to get you 70, 60% of the time a conversion with 2 to 4 yards.
Clearly a different in first half, second half, but when your defense is making plays like that, they'll keep you in the game. Trying to throw the backdoor screen, and it's snipped out. Munnerlyn was all over it. He doesn't make the tackle, but he holds him up in time for Hardy, along with Antoine Applewhite to make the tackle. Pickup of 2, not enough for the first, and they'll punt it away.
I just think these screens anymore in the NFL are, the longer you hold the ball in a screen, the more bad things are going to happen to you on offense. And that screen took forever to materialize. And if it was just a quicker, they had one guy out there defensively to handle it, and if they were able to get a lineman out there, that might have been a nice play.
Joe Adams back deep. Michael Kanan will punt it. Ball is muffed, and he's hit. Adams taken all the way back to the 6-yard line. And that's where they'll down it. Time for a game break. Let's go back to Los Angeles.
Hey, Ron, Packers only lost 1 game last year, but they are in serious trouble at home. Alex Smith, Vernon Davis, touchdown. That puts them up 23-7. But Davis failed dunk attempt. Let's go back to Ron and Mike.
Patrick, we got to get him down to Laker camp. Maybe he can work on his vertical.
When's the last time you saw a score like that up in Green Bay?
Green Bay? Well, we talked about the 49ers being for real. They were loaded for bear talent-wise, and that shows it.
That defense is just remarkable. To hold them to those kinds of points, that is something special.
Going deep, LaFell open. Did he get both feet in? They call it a catch. This is going to be looked at.
Yeah, flag here.
A late flag there, back behind the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Number 71, roughing the quarterback on the defense. 50 headed to the end. First down.
That's Michael Bennett with the late hit to the quarterback. Boy, I'd like to take another look at this catch, though.
Here. Oh, the ball's long gone. Yeah, that's a good call by the official. Got them both. Got them backed up on the 10-yard line. Now you let them out. That's hard. That's the discipline we're talking about.
Plus, you tack on the 15 for the penalty. Ball just beyond the 50-yard line. Williams, that's stacked up right from the get-go. Talk about plays that didn't have a chance. Big number 90, Roy Miller, checks in on that one, a loss of 2.
But they're still struggling here. If you're going to run the ball against these guys, they're bringing an extra player as much of the time as they possibly can on defense. They've got him guessing on the offensive line. But if you're going to run the ball here, you better get something that hits there quick and try and take advantage of a crease. The stuff that's going sideways is just not going to happen.
You saw D'Angelo Williams' rush numbers from a team that was 3 in the NFL and running the football last year. Now they've got a total of 6 rushing yards on the day. Second and long. Olsen has been money all day.
There's the result.
Doesn't pick up a lot, though.
No, but there's a result of tackling defensively. Those drills that we saw and talked about Coach Chiano doing, where you wrap him up, one guy, and he takes him down.
Mason Foster, first rounder back in 09. 3 yards on the game, 3rd and 9. Pressure, they block it. A late throw, the crosser, and it's knocked away. And that is why you draft a safety in the first round.
And he came out of the middle. He wasn't down in the box. He was back in the middle. And that's hard for a strong safety. This is a big, tough, physical guy, almost a linebacker. He gets a terrific jump on the ball, reads it beautifully, sees his eyes, and makes the play. Wow.
You mentioned size, 6'1", 213. He came out of the middle and made a play. Blocked! Free ball! Aqib Talib came clean and got all pigskin.
Bob Ligashevsky's got to be happy. Bob Ligashevsky, I worked with him out at Arizona State as a graduate assistant, and I hired him as a special teams coach when I was the head coach at the St. Louis Rams, and just tickled for him. What a nice effort.
Bob Ligashevsky, the special teams coach, getting it done. And you talk about the plays, coach, that can change games. A game like this, tight game, going back and forth here in the 4th, and you come up with a huge special teams play. Movement looked like down at the bottom on the tight end side. Let's wait and see.
False start, number 88 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It was. That's Luke Stocker.
Okay, you can see here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys here on the left side, and they don't have enough guys. Obviously, he saw something with Talib coming down inside around the corner. They pinned everything back down inside and freed him up on the edge, which is very unusual. Just a very nice scheme there by Bob Ligashevsky.
Martin looking for a crease. He's got it. Spins.
And this really bothered Ron Rivera about these guys in this back in particular, Doug Martin. He gets rolling, and it's hard to knock him off his feet. That was the #1 thing, hard to knock him off his feet.
And at the 11-minute mark of the 4th quarter, the rookie comes with his longest run of the day, 12 yards, as they push the ball down to the 35-yard line of the Carolina Panthers.
And you can see Ted Larson pull around there, get on the linebacker and finish him. He couldn't get off.
The Buccaneers started the game with a touchdown, 2 field goals. Carolina didn't get on the board until the second half. The crowd is screaming interference. They're not going to get it. Intended for Vincent Jackson. Chris Gamble, they got Chris Gamble earlier in the game. They don't get it here.
Well, you run these slants with those big receivers. You just got to keep running. Yeah, you're going to get banged around on those slant routes. Those are hard to call. You might get the call, you might not get the call, but a receiver his size, he just needs to run through that corner. Yeah, sure.
Well, I remember Brett Favre getting on his receivers for slowing down on those slant routes inside. 3rd and 3. The quick toss. That's DJ Ware, and Ware with a nice cut, and he's got the first down.
Got him guessing on defense now. You know, they've got those inside guys trying to get a push, and ends are coming up the field. That's stretched out pretty good to the right side. As you look at this again, you know, we pulled. You can see the defense overrun this thing, and he's right back up inside. Taking advantage of an overzealous pursuit there by those inside guys.
Ware representing the New York Giant influence from this team. Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, spent some time up in New York, as did Ware. They've worked together there. They have a familiarity. Boy, it's just head down and pounded time.
It's just
back to the run, 3 yards for Martin.
It's just so important that these guys put a stop here to stay in this thing and have a chance, because you know, you get 3 points here, you know, as opposed to 7 points. It's all the difference in the world in terms of being able to come back and how many scores you got to have.
And there's a look at Mike Sullivan, the offensive coordinator in his first year, the last 8 years with the New York Giants as an assistant, 2 Super Bowl rings, last 2 there as a quarterback coach for Eli Manning. He comes in with a pretty darn good resume, I'd say.
Yes, he does.
2nd and 7, play action, ball's out quick. Lord is hit immediately. Picked up a couple. James Anderson on the tackle. That's a pickup of 2.
Impressed with the play selection here. I know it doesn't look like a big deal, but they're trying to take advantage of an overzealous pursuit by these linebackers and slow that push down there a little bit. Yeah, I think Mike Sullivan's done a terrific job here preparing this thing for this game. He's got it wired. He really does. He's just got a real nice mix. He's taking shots when he has to, or he thinks he's got a chance at it, but he's keeping that ball away from Cam, and that's how you got to beat that team.
Clock rolling, coming up to the 8-minute mark, 3rd and 5. Carolina bringing pressure. They block it. Knocked away at the last second. Captain Munnerlyn with a huge play. If that ball is caught, he might run for a while.
Yeah, they brought both backers inside, which leaves him on an island out man to man, and he got a nice jump on that, and that makes all the difference in the world in that play. Like you said, Ron, if he gets one step, he's out the gate. There's no help on that.
40 yards out now for Connor Barth. He's 2 for 2 today. He hit from 36 and from 20. High snap. Gets it up. It's clean. It's through. No flags. The Buccaneers do what they need to do. Big plays. Hold on to the ball. Run the ball. Block punch. And tack on points. 16-7.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. Make your season epic with Visa NFL fan offers. By Bose, the official home audio sponsor of the NFL. And by the all-new Dodge Dart. Dodge, new rules.
The Buccaneers started the game with 13 unanswered points, winning at halftime, had a rain delay. They came out a little sluggish offensively. Carolina was able to go down the field and punt by Aqib Talib, and that leads to more points. The 40-yard field goal after the nice drive by Barth puts Tampa Bay up 16-7 here with just under 8 minutes to play. Joe Adams back deep. That ball is coming out 9.5 yards deep. Adams rolling. He gets it out past the 20. You take a ball out that deep, you better get it past the 20 or don't talk to the special teams coach. Cam Newton, he's got to go. 16-7. Boy, if you don't think turnovers are the key to every football game in the NFL, take a look at this graphic. The last 3 possessions for Carolina, 2 interceptions and a blocked punt.
Well, and this is what Greg Schiano came in here with the Buccaneers, and that was his deal. We're going to eliminate those kinds of turnovers. And here we got the Carolina commitment.
He said eliminate turnovers and tackle better on defense. Newton down. I don't know if his knee touched. The Buccaneers are saying that it did. But that's a desperation throw. And a guy who's been in the backfield all day, Coach Gerald McCoy.
He has. He's been so disruptive. Probably the biggest influence on defense against Carolina because he's been so disruptive, even though he may not have the numbers. Biggest issue here, well, you just got to get points. Even if it's a field goal, there's some patience involved here now. Just get a chunk here and get yourself into a third down situation where you can get a conversion. You just don't want to go whammy-bammy.
A loss of 8. McCoy's working inside on the rookie, Silatolu. And there's a challenge flag. Carolina threw out the challenge flag. We're going to hold here and find out exactly what Ron Rivera is challenging.
There is no challenge on the previous play. It was a sack.
Okay. Jerry Hughes clears that up.
So once it's blown dead, it's just not, unless there's a change of possession, it's just not challengeable.
So Carolina ending the year last year with the number 7 offense. Looking at just about 7 minutes to play here. Throw incomplete to LaFell. Well, Saturday, it's another great weekend of college football action here on Fox. First, Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff with Fox College Saturday pregame show. Then, Heisman Trophy frontrunner Matt Barkley and number 2 ranked USC head to Palo Alto to take on Stanford. Coverage of Fox College football begins Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Should be a good one.
You got to make that catch. Those are tough catches, but that certainly was a catchable ball. Now, that would put them in a 3rd and 9 or a 3rd and 8, which is makeable. Now they're looking at 3rd and a million.
Boy, and the Buccaneers just sat way back. Pressure. Newton goes down. The ball is loose. Recovered by Carolina, but it's going to bring up 4th down. Ball knocked out there on the hit by Michael Bennett.
This is kind of how he ended the half, and I don't like this. There's plenty of time left in this game. Just don't make a bad play worse. Get rid of it. If you're going to run it, then commit and run it, or throw it down the field, keep your eyes down, but to hesitate and hold on, only bad things happen there.
Adrian Claiborne with the initial pressure. Last time out for Carolina, ball blocked. They get this one away safely. Fair catch. Ball secured at the 41-yard line by Straughter. 6-14, and if they've run the ball before, you know they're going to run it now.
Today's game is sponsored by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
Panthers swept the Buccaneers last year here in Tampa Bay, 38-19. That's when Newton went for his 3 rushing touchdowns. They went up to Carolina later on in the year. They beat them up again, 48-16. Teams don't forget those kind of losses, and it looks as though Tampa Bay hadn't forgot about it. There's the run I talked about, and that's Martin. He'll pick up at least 4. Johnson on the tackle. Looking back, the Panthers not able to run the ball, even though they finished the season last year ranked number 3 in the NFL, averaging 150 yards a game rushing. 3 field goals by Connor Barth, and Doug Martin, the rookie we've seen on film, just seems to plug away, and give you those positive yards.
Well, you got Eric Lorig is knocking Luke out of there, Luke Kuechly out of there, some of these lead plays, and they're getting an extra yard. And obviously Martin, he's got some punch now. He's forward with it all the way.
Sun starting to peek out, looking for the long comeback. And it's just a bit high, intended for Mike Williams.
What happens is they start catching blocks. These linebackers, young backers, when they get tired and they're trying to learn the key and diagnose, they're convinced that the ball's going to go someplace that really isn't, and all of a sudden this big fullback's on him, and they can't get off of him. He's struggled a little bit with the lead blocker coming out of the backfield. They don't do that in college. You don't see lead blockers anymore in college.
Well, everything is so spread out. They're running the spread, they're running the read option, and everybody's in a hurry-up fashion. This is a 3rd and 6. Steps up, throws, and it's completed, knocked away. Nice play there by Captain Munnerlyn. Jackson had the ball, turned upfield, but Munnerlyn is all over it. That's his second big breakup on a 3rd down situation.
This was just an outstanding job of Josh here in the pocket. Watch him. He's going to get pressure here over the back here to the left side, ignores it, moves to the right, steps up to inside here, and lets it go. Just last year, you didn't see that happen.
Carolina bringing a block. Kanan gets it out of there and puts some hang time on it. Adams chooses to get away from it. And Carolina will have one last shot here. 16-7. .506 to play here in Tampa. 16-7 game. The crowd, they've been in it all day. Now they're back into it as they smell victory.
They've still got time here. Just be careful with the deep drops and some of the deeper routes. This last series, they had an awful lot of them. And get some crossing routes in there and a screen or two. They got to make something happen, though. That's for sure.
Looking screen. Tolbert comes up with it, and look at the distance he's got. Tolbert caught that ball, turned, and he had so much green. 20 yards on the pickup and a first.
And this is what you want against pressure like this. If you can show a block, then come back out, and boy, he sniffed it out. Bart, he did sniff it out. He had it.
Ronde couldn't hold on.
Got spun around, but boy, those are always big plays against pressure with 2 backers or a nickel or safety. An overload like that, that's going to come out there big. Patience now.
Patience, time, going deep. Caught. What a catch. Right on the fingertips. Louis Murphy dropped it in right over Aqib Talib.
He did look like Vincent Jackson. There's patience for you, right?
51 yards.
Gain of 51. 1st and 10, Carolina at the 18.
What a throw, what a catch.
He dropped it right down in front. Now, in 2 plays, look how far they've gone here.
Louis Murphy coming from Oakland in a trade this season, known for one thing, and that's speed. He got the separation.
Yes, he did.
First time in the red zone today for Carolina. Backdoor throw. That's Smith. Smith will be at the 12-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. Maybe closer to the 11.
Big difference in this series, though. The tempo of the throws is more quick 5 and 3-step and screens, and that the other series, Chud's done a great job in terms of play calling here. The other series, he just kind of longer developing plays, and they were pressuring him. So now he's answered this. He's done a real nice job here calling plays.
Smith over 100 yards receiving on the day. That 51-yard pass play to Murphy that started all this off was the longest of the day by either team. 2nd and 3. Looking towards Smith. He's got Smith. Smith taken down at the 7-yard line. Eric Wright. Smith shaken up.
This is really an outstanding series for the offensive coordinator, Tedinski. He has really mixed up the tempo here now where it's a quicker throw, underneath throws. He's given him a chance on that deep throw there. You know, that probably wasn't his initial read, but he got by him, and he saw him.
First and goal. Newton makes a man miss, gets it down to the 3. They'll call it a pickup of 4 yards. Foster on the tackle.
This is highlighting what Cam Newton does best. You know, he's got a deep ball in there. You get a screen, kind of get him going, get him back confident again, let him hit that deep ball like he did, but getting him involved with that quarterback draw, they got to account for him, boy. It's hard.
Second and goal, Smith down to the bottom. Murphy up top. Going to the fade. Knocked away. What a play. Last second to lead. Locates the ball and gets an arm in there.
He might have been able to get that ball out of there just a little bit sooner, but there's enough separation there on the corner where I felt like he could have laid that thing to the corner. So many teams are just hooked into throwing back shoulder there, and he really got by the corner. I think he could have thrown that out to the pylon. What a difference, huh? Cam Newton first half, second half.
Third and goal. Newton. Stuck at the 4. Fourth down coming up. They're going to send on the field goal team.
I just think that's a good call. In that situation on third down, you're getting a max defense there. Just a heck of a convergence by all the defenders on the play. Rondé, he pulled the trigger on that. He was a blur off the left side there. That's a good call. I mean, they're in a max drop there. You got to think he can get it in there.
They're going to need the 3 at some point anyway. Take it now. 21 yards out. And it's clean for Justin Medlock. Just brought in, replaces Alindo Mare. And we've got a good one here. 16-10, 6-point game. Call it a chip shot if you want, but for Justin Medlock, you know, the last time he kicked a field goal was 2007. He came into the league as a 5th-round pick with Kansas City, bounced around the NFL, bounced around the CFL, and now in 2012, he kicks another field goal.
Take nothing for granted. You know, those are obviously huge plays that we all take for granted to say, well, that's what's supposed to happen. That's tough. You know, in those types of situations, if you haven't been in them for a long time, you know, a little pressure on you.
Michael Smith, he'll take it 5 yards deep. Makes a move and gets it out to the 18-yard line. Out to Patrick for a game break. Here he is.
All right, Rod, thanks a lot. Randall Cobb bringing the pack back, a 75-yard punt return for a touchdown. The replacement ref would throw a flag for an illegal block, but forget about that. They picked it up. 2-point conversion converted. It's now 23-15. Niners still up on the Packers. Ron and Mike.
Whoa, a good one out there. Thank you, Patrick. Ron Pitts, Mike Martz, Christina Pink here in Tampa Bay. We've got a good one, a 6-point game. Carolina struggling all day long, but they put together a drive when they needed to. Went down the field, and now it's the Buccaneers' turn. There's a shot in the face. Beeson, he's fired up about it. A quick look at the offensive leaders.
You know, one of the things that as you look at this group here, you got Doug Martin, 21 rushes for 72 yards as a rookie in a game like this. That's just huge. Vincent Jackson, obviously 3 catches for 4. They thought he would have showed up just a little bit more than what he has, you know. But the key here is Josh Freeman, no turnovers. No turnovers, making plays when he's got to make them, and he came out on fire. But Doug Martin has been very, very impressive. And Ron, the coaching staff all raved about him and his ability to move the chains and the extra yard or 2 after the initial hit, and certainly that's what we're seeing today.
Josh Freeman, 12 yards passing in the second half. Clearly a tale of 2 halves. He was doing everything right, and it looked as though just literally 7 minutes ago that the Buccaneers are going to walk into the locker room with a comfortable victory. They had just blocked the punt. The lead came around the corner. But Carolina came right down the field. 2nd and 7. 86-yard drive by Newton. 2nd and 7, run. Working on the clock. A timeout called previously there by Carolina.
Eric Lorig, again, on Luke, you've got to look at this matchup. This has been a war all game long now. This has been terrific.
Well, this week, it's the battle for baseball's postseason heating up as the NL East leading Nationals battle the NL Wild Card leading Braves, or the Rays take on the Yankees, or the Tigers and the Indians. Starts this week, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 Pacific time. Boy, what got into those Nationals this year?
Wow.
They started to heat up in July, first part of July, and just kept on going.
You know, Luke Kuechly, I don't think I've seen a fullback like this. There's been some terrific collisions. That one happened 3 yards in the backfield. But they are continuing to take that ball between the tackles downhill and doing it very effectively. They've got to do something to disrupt them. Get that ball back. Either force a turnover or stuff them and keep them off and get them off the field here.
1 timeout left now for Carolina. They just burned another one. They'll have the 2-minute warning coming up, so that will stop it as well.
He will.
3rd and short. What do you think, Coach?
Well, he's using the clock, let it get all the way down to a second. Almost lost it there. But you've got to, if you're going to do this, you got to make sure you complete it. And he did. That's a fire pass.
What did you call that pass?
It's a fire pass. And what fire pass mean is everybody blocks run, basically. He's trying to throw the ball to the back in the flat. And this has been very effective, particularly against young linebackers. They at this time of the game, when they're convinced they're going to run the football, everybody's hitting the line of scrimmage. And what he did so well here, that was not his first choice. Actually, that was his 3rd choice. I know this play. And that was not number 1. He went into the flat, the receiver back behind him, and he got back down inside. Very, very impressive on a big, big 3rd down in this game. Wow, Josh. Well done.
4 yards, big first down by Vincent Jackson. And the Buccaneers now know they can work on the clock a little bit. The 2-minute warning will stop it. But
Boy,
that'll be about it.
You know, the attitude that Coach Shannon has talked about with this football team, you see it out here. They haven't let up.
Martin trying to get over 100 yards. That's a big step in that direction. That's a big 15. He's got 95 rushing yards on the day.
Hard yards in between the tackles, too.
The 2-minute warning. Doubled up twice by the Panthers. The Buccaneers wanted revenge. They're 2 minutes away. 6-point game under the 2-minute warning here in Tampa Bay. Bonus coverage coming your way right after this one. A good one up in Green Bay, the 49ers and the Packers right now at the 8-minute mark. 30-15 game.
You know, the fundamentals, the sense of urgency and the detail certainly showed up for the Buccaneers on both sides of the ball that Coach Shannon has stressed so much throughout camp.
And they started to pay off here today. You can see he didn't quite know exactly what he had. He told us, you know, we're not really sure what our identity is. We haven't played a regular season game. Well, I think now they can begin to know.
Well, in all honesty, I think he's basically told them what their identity is going to be. We're going to be a tough physical team. And then he's pushed them in that direction with them really kind of not understanding or knowing it. And all of a sudden they're here. And this is going to be such a shot in the arm for this football team and believing and buying into what he's brought to this organization.
Carolina can't stop the clock. Remember, bonus coverage coming up. We'll send you to Green Bay, the 49ers and the Packers. Right now, the 49ers up 30-15 over the Pack. That's coming your way right after this one.
But you look at Josh's numbers here, and again, kind of 138 yards. But the big deal here is no interceptions and third down conversions. And this, I can't tell you how important it is for Josh to get started like this season and overcome those types of things that he was doing wrong a year ago.
And for Carolina, 10 yards total rushing. That ties a franchise low set back in 2000. And that will do it. 16-10, the Buccaneers get the opening day win over a hot division rival. And for that man, Greg Schiano, after 11 successful years at Rutgers, he'll get his first NFL head coaching win as he exchanges pleasantries with Ron Rivera.
I think they've got their work cut out for the Panthers next week. At home, New Orleans, this is going to be a challenge for them. They got to rebound.
We'll return to Tampa to wrap things up right after this. 16-10